E-commerce, selling e-commerce on Facebook. Awesome. It's been going gangbusters lately, right?
Yeah.
Olivia, Swati,
Hello.
welcome to the podcast.
Thank
Hello.
you.
So, guys, anyone watching or listening, this is our first video recorded podcast, so forgive us for our nervousness. Camera's up there, but let's just pretend it's not there. Olivia, you've been
Yes.
running e-commerce websites for or campaigns for e-commerce websites on Facebook for a while now?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say almost maybe a majority of the campaigns running at the moment are e-commerce.
Yep.
And yeah, they work exceptionally well, which is why so many people do it.
Yeah, it's gone crazy, right,
Yeah.
on Facebook?
Yeah, you've seen the same?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially during COVID.
Yeah.
Like we had probably the bulk of our clients before COVID were like tradies, service based, and a mix of some e-commerce, and then just things went crazy.
Yeah,
we got a lot
everyone
of e-commerce
moved online.
clients. Swati, you've been doing e-commerce campaigns on Facebook too, right?
Yes.
Good. So you've both got something to bring to the table, I suppose. We'll do our best anyway.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yes. All right. So in regards to promoting products on Facebook, what do you think that e-commerce business owners need to know? What do you think is one of the biggest things that trips people up when advertising on Facebook?
I would say conversion tracking
Yes.
because it's difficult to do.
Yes.
But it's super important because it's how you tell if your campaign's working and optimize it. And, you know, if your campaign's not working, there's no point running it.
Right.
So that would be my answer.
Yeah, cool. So setting up conversion tracking,
Yeah.
which is easier with some e-commerce websites than others, right?
Yes, definitely.
Shopify is an easier one.
Yeah.
I think.
And basically you set it up through a thing called the Facebook Pixel, if
Yep.
people don't know, which just tracks what visitors do on your website after clicking on an ad.
Yep.
It's a great tool.
Yep.
It's, yeah.
Hard to set up.
Yeah. And if you've never done it before, it can be quite tricky.
So what e-commerce system or CMS, what platform do you think people should use if they were thinking of building an e-commerce website?
Shopify.
Shopify? Why?
Shopify. Because I think Shopify has a well integrated system,
Yes.
which so you can integrate Google, Facebook, and other channels in a much easier way as compared to any other like WooCommerce or Wix.
Yes.
So
I think Wix is probably one of the hardest.
Yeah.
WooCommerce is all right.
Plus with the landing pages, you can't really set up
Yeah.
landing pages on Wix.
Very limiting.
Yeah, and if you go for Shopify, then and if you plan to run shopping ads along with Facebook, then that also works well.
Yeah, cool. So if you can think of any campaigns that are running particularly well at the moment, why do you think that might be? What have you seen that works for if let's say there's someone out there listening to this right now, and they've got an e-commerce website, they're boosting posts, they may be spending $5 or $10 a day on these ads, not really knowing whether or not they're working. What would your suggestion be?
I think to start out with a wide range of products that you're advertising. So don't just think, oh, this is my bestseller, I'm only going to run an ad promoting this.
Yep.
The more products you can have on, especially at the beginning, the better.
Yep.
And then let the user decide what they like.
Yep.
From there, of course, if there are clear winners, you can turn off the rest. But I would say get started promoting a whole range of products and see what works best for advertising.
Yes.
Because sometimes you find a product that draws a lot of people in and gets a lot of sales. Even though they don't purchase that one product,
Yep.
that's the thing that brought them to your website.
Yes.
If that makes sense. So it might not be your best seller,
Yep.
but you don't know unless you try.
Yeah, cool. So split testing a lot of different ads, different
Definitely.
products. Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
What I think is that you should have your prices out there
Yes.
in front of people, and so that they have an idea that okay, these products probably they look nice, but they are within my budget as well.
Yes.
And so that probably at least entices them to click
Yes.
and go to your website. And it's better to start with carousel ads because the user can see your entire range with
Yes.
prices on top.
Yep.
And each individual product image would link to the respective page.
Yes.
So it is like the viewer is doing sort of a window shopping on
Yes.
Facebook. So.
Yeah, cool. So they can scroll through carousel
Yeah.
ads, meaning
Yeah.
that there's multiple pictures of products that they can scroll through,
Absolutely.
and that's cool because it's like window shopping without even leaving Facebook, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And do you think that there should be a price on each of the items in that carousel?
Yes, on
Yep.
each of the items, and especially if you're running discounts.
Yes.
So the best way is to, what generally we do here, and we see that it works, is that we put the older price
Yes.
and then strike that off and
Yep.
put the discounted price, which is
Yep.
highlighted with bright colors, and so that it draws attention.
Yeah, yeah.
And then obviously you'll get traffic.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I was talking about that with someone this morning, about how even when you've been in advertising and you create these ads and run them every day, when you walk into a shop, you see a slashed price.
Yeah.
It still works on me. Like I still feel like I need to snatch it up before it goes back to its normal price. So
That's impulse. Yeah.
very, very powerful, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what else about the ads do you think that might help our listeners kind of get their ads to get better results for them? Anything specific?
I think there's different ways that you can run product ads on Facebook. Like you can do, I think they're called like the collection ads, where it just pulls in your data feed.
Yep.
One thing we do here is like make each product image.
Individually.
Yeah. So our designer actually goes through, takes your image, makes it look nice. Like we said, put the price on it.
Yep.
So actually putting effort into that image rather than just taking exactly what's on your website or letting
Yep.
Facebook draw it in. I think that's a really big thing as well, because it's still an ad and you have to work on the creative the same as you would
Yes.
anything else. You can't just,
Yeah. So for the sake of our listeners
Half
out
do
there,
it.
you're talking about a catalog ad where there's a data feed that's pulled from your website.
Yes.
And fed directly into Facebook.
Yes.
And then Facebook will just automatically generate a
Yeah.
sort of a carousel ad.
Yep.
Just based on the images of the products on your website.
Yes.
You can, I know, customize like what pricing or description or title you put in.
Yeah.
But the ads haven't been worked on. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not Facebook ads. They're just pictures of products from your
Yeah.
website, right?
So it's easier to do.
Yes.
But we find putting in that extra work
Yep.
pays off.
Yeah,
So-
cool. And also, I think that with the ads on Facebook, having put that effort into each individual item means that you can pick out your best-selling items, like the top 10 or 20 items, and promote them specifically to your
Yeah.
audience, right?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. That seems to be like pretty much, if you were to summarize how we're able to get the best results for our clients, is to put that effort into each ad,
Yeah.
into each design, and promote their best-selling items.
Yeah.
Right? Like a range of their best-selling items.
Yeah.
Another thing which I find which is really important is the structure of the campaign.
Yes.
For example, if you have a website and you have 5 different product categories, then it's better that you have a separate campaign for each product category rather than having one campaign and keeping all the products, similar products in one.
Yep.
It's better to have so that you can allocate budget depending on what returns you get from each product category and, things
Yes.
like that.
Yeah, cool. So actually segmenting your campaign up
Absolutely, yes.
so that it's easy for you to read the data.
Yeah.
Because you can see what ROAS is attributed to each image and each ad, but
Yeah.
you can't actually split the budget up based on the ads, right?
Yes.
You can do that at campaign or ad set group, but not within an ad set. Have you guys found what happens with Facebook? I know from my experience, if you clump a whole bunch of ads together in one ad set,
Only a few
yeah,
spend budget.
Facebook decides for some unknown reason to anyone other than Facebook and God that this one ad is the one that's going to get 95% of the budget
Yeah.
spent on it, right?
Yeah.
And then often you split those ads up into their own ad sets and you'll find that other ads actually outperform
Yeah.
the one that Facebook decided was the one to spend all the money on.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
So all of this really translates into effort, right? Like you've got to kind of put effort into designing each and every ad, segment your campaign up into different ad sets. So what about with the placement of the pricing? I know that there's something that we do specifically here that helps. It's top right of the ad.
Yeah.
We usually put our pricing in the top
Top
right-hand
right,
corner. And if possible, based on the style guide, it will be like a red
Yeah.
circle.
So why is that?
Well, just the psychology, the red spot special, I think.
And the
have
top
seen
right?
that. That's a good question. I think that's just universal. We've tried them in different areas, like
Yeah.
or even just in the ad copy itself, but we've found that the top right for some reason works really well.
Interesting.
Yeah, well done trying to put me on the spot there, Lily.
No,
No?
I was going to say sometimes as well it can do with if you're scrolling on your phone, like maybe the thumb placement.
Yes.
As well, like things like that.
Yeah, get more noticed because that's where you're scrolling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
cool.
there are different things like that.
Yes.
So
Yeah, cool. Cool. All right, so we've kind of covered the ads for e-commerce websites, I suppose, to a degree. There's a couple of helpful tips for people out there that are listening. What about audiences, audience targeting and funnels? For people out there that don't know what funnels are, it's like how you set up what happens after someone clicks or engages with one of your ads or leaves your website after not making a purchase? Is there a general kind of structure you guys follow in regards to setting up e-commerce campaigns?
Yeah, I do. So again, you need the Facebook pixel installed to be able to do that tracking. But a big one is, obviously abandoned cart.
Yes.
So they were interested enough, they wanted to add it to their cart,
Yep.
or whatever it is in checkout. So you can make an audience of people who added to their cart and, didn't make a purchase. So that's a great audience. You can also do people who engaged with your ads and didn't make a purchase. Like there's so many different remarketing things that you can do, but they're my two main ones that I will almost always do.
Yeah, cool.
I don't know, Swati, if you do similar.
Obviously, website visitors, excluding purchases.
Yeah, cool. So to try to get people to come back
Yeah.
and make a purchase if they haven't already made one?
Yeah.
Cool. And what about your cold audiences? Is there anything that we do specifically there? I think that there's something that often trips up e-commerce business owners often is getting the audience too targeted, right? So you're limiting the amount of people that Facebook can show your ads to significantly when you start saying, I think my product's going to be best promoted to males between 30 to 35 that are interested in dogs or something like that. You find
Making
that
it too tight.
Yeah, there's an audience potentially of like 25 million people in Australia, and you're letting Facebook only show your ad to 50,000 of those Facebook users. That's severely limiting the potential of your campaign, right?
Definitely.
And increasing the cost per 1,000 impressions as well. I think Facebook charges you more, don't they, to target a specific audience?
Yeah. So if you start off broad and then you do all the remarketing like we spoke about, you can then remarket to people who expressed they were interested. So if they clicked on your ad or went through to your website, and then that's how you narrow your pool based on people who are interested, not who you think.
Right.
Which
is why the image of the ad has to be of the products that you're trying to sell.
Yeah.
Right? That can work really well.
And
That's
the
how you
best
draw
way to
people in.
deal with this is why not test your audiences?
Yes.
As in, that is what we do here. As in, we show the same ads to a cold audience without any detailed targeting.
Yep.
As in, no interests and no. That is where you hold the perception about your audience.
Yeah.
And the second set would be a targeted audience, as in whoever you feel, like you said, that somebody who likes dogs or somebody who likes to shop a particular brand, things like that.
Yes.
And then you let the numbers speak.
Cool.
You show both your ads, probably put the same budget, everything, and then you see whatever works for you best.
What do you see works most out of what we might call a control audience, like no targeting virtually? I mean, obviously within reason. Like if you're selling bras, you target females. You know what I mean? Or if you're selling, I don't know, I can't even think of something like, men's shaving equipment or whatever.
You need to do some basic demographic targeting.
There's just
obviously.
no interest targeting.
Cool. So you're not trying to get all creative.
Age and gender, you still generally will put in.
Because it's tempting, right? Like Facebook's audience targeting tool's really cool. There's thousands of different options in there. So you try to have a bit of fun and you think that you're getting like this really mad audience, you're going to get great conversion rates, and you find that actually you've caused your campaign to become a bit of a flop, right? Which is a problem. But which one out of the control versus the targeted audiences that we create, is it like 50-50? Do you think more so come from control audiences, meaning targeting everyone?
I think control works pretty well, and it's generally cheaper per purchase.
Yes.
But again, I think we've touched on this on a previous podcast. It depends if there's an obvious niche for your business. So if you're selling pet food, you can target people who are
have pets.
So
cool.
things like that, it would work better to be targeted. It depends business to business, but generally I find the control works well, which is why we set it up for every campaign. So, and again, it's just letting the data speak. We can say this is what we think works, but you split test and you actually see.
Yeah, cool. And essentially when you target everyone with your ad, if the ad's the right ad, like it makes it really clear really quickly to people what it is that you're promoting, then usually anyone who engaged with that ad is a really good audience to target as well, right? Like that's going to be a way more accurately targeted audience than anything you could have come up with in the Facebook ad manager.
Another thing about putting the price in is you help people, I don't think the term is self-identify, but people can see straight off the bat, oh, this is too expensive for me. They're not going to click through. You're not going to, waste your time with them.
Yes.
And the same thing as well. People will be like, oh, what a good deal. Like I'm going to click through. So, adding price also helps to narrow your audience down.
Yes.
Because straight off the bat, they'll know if it's within their price range or not. And if not, they'll keep scrolling. It's not worth their time.
Yeah, cool.
So that's something I thought of before with price.
Cool. All right. Types of products that sell better than others on Facebook from your experience, having run these campaigns for all this time. Would you find that more expensive items or more niche style items? What do you think works well on Facebook? I mean, I've got my own experience. I've found that discount bargain ish kind of items tend to work really well on Facebook, but I know that that's not a law set in stone.
Yeah.
We've also got some fashion clients that sell high ticket items that have done really well, right?
Yeah, I mean, anything lower ticket is good because it's an impulse purchase. You're not going to think too much about it. Bigger ticket items, that's when you find you need to do a lot of remarketing because, you know, they need to think about it. Maybe they have to wait till the next pay, stuff like that.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if you've found, Swati, like a lot of them work well. Like you said, you've got bargain items and higher ticket. It just depends.
Yeah, I think there are all kinds. Even we have clients selling expensive gadgets.
Yeah.
Even you know, making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And even smaller jewelry. You know.
Shoes.
Yeah, all sorts, everything.
Candles, things like that, you know. So
what is your best client, Billy?
From Facebook, there's a client that we've got a 60 times return on ad spend from.
That's not bad.
Selling candles, which is just nuts.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a thing that I've seen a lot of businesses do in Australia is underestimate the Australian market, the size of our economy and what can be sold. Yeah. There are literally, I know you've got a client, Swati, selling like nearly $1 million a month worth of gadgets.
Yeah.
We won't go too far. We can't disclose, obviously, too much information publicly, but we were flabbergasted, right? When we logged into his website after running his campaign for a while, we were like, how is this guy selling this many of these damn things? You know, Australia only, right? He's only selling them in Australia.
Yes.
Same thing with a couple of my clients. Guys, I've got one client selling over $1 million a month worth of stuff to Australian consumers. Now, everyone I tell that to, they go, what? You know, Australia only? It's definitely doable in this country, but it depends on a number of things, right? One is the value of the item that you're selling, right? Like, is it a good offer? Are you getting something that's worthwhile for a good price? Because you can't gift wrap shit on Facebook. People will see straight through that. They can click through and look at all of your competitors' websites within. They don't even have to move. They're literally moving their finger like an inch, and they've just checked out 5 or 10 of your competitors and their prices. So price is a big thing on Facebook, especially if you've got a commodity like something that everyone else is kind of selling. Something you can't sell 2 liters of milk on Facebook for $10, you know, when you can get it anywhere else for 2. So the offer and the value of what it is that people are getting is important. There's a number of other things on e-commerce websites that work really well. Payment terms, Afterpay. If you've got Afterpay or Zip Money or any other kind of thing that offers payment terms, I think it's important to put that in the ad. Yeah. You guys have probably seen that, I know. Yeah. Because for some reason, I mean, not myself, I don't ever use that kind of stuff. I don't have a credit card. Like, to me, money tomorrow is even kind of more expensive than money today because I don't want to have to put up with that shit later. But for a lot of people, you know, getting the item now or buying the item now and paying later is very appealing. You know, social proof, credibility, calls to action, offering promotions, discounts, you know, running campaigns, specifically offering a limited time or a premium offer. These things all make a big difference, right? And we do this with our clients, I believe, on Facebook for e-commerce websites a lot of the time.
Definitely.
Would you say that you need an offer to run a campaign on Facebook if you've got an e-commerce website?
You don't need it, but it certainly helps.
Makes a big difference, right?
Yeah. And especially, like you said, you can't sell milk for $10 for 2 liters. Like, you have to have something that's good and competitive.
Yeah. If you are selling something which nobody else is, and
you've got the
have an edge,
yeah.
So you don't need to. But if you have another Me Too product, then you need to have an offer.
Yeah.
So, and the beautiful thing about Facebook is you don't have to wait a month and spend $5,000 to see whether or not the ads are working, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can come up with an offer, test it for a couple of days, spend $50 or $100 on that ad and see if you're getting any sales. And if you're not, don't just triple down on the budget because it's obviously not working.
Yeah.
You know, thousands upon thousands of people will have seen your ad for that money. So you'll know whether or not it's working, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of return on ad spend are you girls getting at the moment for your clients? Can you think of any off the top of your head? 5 times, 10 times? Is that too much for people to ask when they're promoting their products?
The gadget guy is getting 13 times, 11 to 13 times.
Wow.
I think I have some maybe between 6 to 10, depending. But again, it always depends what you're selling.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to
you can't
really.
put a number
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Depends on
Yeah.
A blanket
the-
number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
the purchase value.
Yeah.
Adds a lot to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, great. So, is there any other advice you think that we can give our listeners out there today about if let's just pretend we've got someone who's got an e-commerce website, they're getting a few sales, they've never done anything on Facebook, or they've boosted some of their own posts. What do you think we can tell them about how they can make more money by advertising on Facebook?
First things first, you need to have a lot of products on your website.
Yes.
As in,
Variety.
we have tried selling products from websites having a handful of products, 10,
Yes.
15, not more than that. And if a user lands there and realizes that, oh, I don't have much to choose from, and then they will go to your competitor's website and
Yes.
probably find a range there, and they'll never come back.
Yes.
So it's better to wait a few more months and sort out your product,
Your catalog.
Yeah, and
Yep.
and then start with it.
Yeah, cool.
And another thing I find really important is your ads should have a good image, as
Yes.
in they should look nice.
Yep.
Because Facebook is a very visual medium, and people are always browsing, and they need something attractive to stop and even have a look at it.
Yes.
So until and unless your images or whatever asset you're using is what do you say, is gets your attention.
Yes.
Nobody would actually, they'll just swipe through below it and they won't even notice.
Yeah, cool. Cool. What about you, Livy? Got anything?
Yes, I don't know if it's quite answering your question, but one
Yep.
thing I'm thinking as well is that when you start to get a few sales come through,
Yep.
not to neglect those customers, because one thing Facebook actually does is survey your customers who bought
Yep.
stuff from you on Facebook,
Yep.
and those results impact the future of your campaign. So they will
Page
ask.
quality score.
Yeah, and I know you've had clients that have had experience with that.
Yeah, we were selling face masks over
Yeah.
COVID, and then there was no successfully too, because a lot of agencies couldn't get face
Yeah,
mask ads running. The
outright
policies, it was outright blocked. Little did they know that it was just because they were offering a discount if you bought bulk. They had all
And you
these
can't
weird
put
policies.
time pressure on it,
Yeah.
like things like that.
You can't say limited stock,
Yeah.
buy now or anything like that. So
Yeah.
we managed to get face mask ads running, but the problem was he sold so many of them in such a short period of time. I saw that he sent me a photo of him and his family and all of their family friends all huddled into this little shop with sewing machines, just trying to make these face masks in
Yeah.
time. I think he sold like $180,000 worth of face masks in like one day
Yeah.
at one stage. Then what had happened was there was a hold up with delivery, of
Yeah.
course, and then the customers were surveyed. Facebook penalised his page. Upon a request for manual review, they reinstated his ads, but said that because of the low response rate, they were going to charge him more to show his ads to less people.
Yeah, I think that's something a lot of people don't know. You might just think, oh, look at all these sales, like
Yes.
smooth sailing. You really have to,
Take care of your customers.
Yeah.
Because Facebook will check.
yeah, they will
Right.
check and they'll
Yep.
charge you for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy, man.
Yeah.
That was intense. He's not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
The Facebook, the face mask saga's kind of blown over
Yeah.
a little bit. What about different types of ads? Have you found that getting around Facebook ad policies, is there any little tricks or tips that you can give people if they're having problems getting their ads disapproved?
Yeah, definitely. It depends what policy you're violating.
Yep.
Like we touched on with the face mask, you couldn't promote a sense of urgency,
Yep.
which for normal things is fine.
Yep.
It depends as well, like,
What about how you promote the ad?
yeah, I mean, give away some secrets, I suppose.
Yeah, why not? Just do it, Livy.
We found a lot of success. So you can set up ads, obviously, through the ads manager. If you go onto your Facebook page, create a post and boost it,
Yep.
we found that can get around the policy
policies,
sometimes.
yeah.
Which technically it shouldn't.
Yep.
Because they say it goes through the same review process.
Yep.
And I hope this doesn't flag anything there, but we have found success boosting posts.
Yeah, the exact same ad that
Yeah.
you created inside the ad manager that got disapproved
It works if you boost it.
as a post on the page and then boosted,
Yeah.
got through and ran with no problems, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
No idea why, but I'm not complaining.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it helps also having our Facebook marketing partner reps
Yeah.
to lean on, but that was not something that they suggested.
No.
They said that it will not make any difference.
That's the thing. Technically, it shouldn't work like that.
Yep.
But
You can also sort of get an anomaly out there, guys. If you're listening, if you try posting one of your ads to your page and then boosting it. And then look at the cost per 1,000 impressions. Sometimes those boosted posts get like 5 or 10 times more impressions for the same cost, right? So that's always worth a try. And if you put a link in the ad description, in the content of the ad, if you put a link in there, you can run a conversion campaign, meaning that Facebook will track how many sales you get on your e-commerce website as a result of clicks on that link, right? Cool. Any other helpful tips, or we're going to wrap it up there, guys? Thanks for your time. I know that it's nerve-wracking being in front of a camera. I know it's a little bit nerve-wracking for me, but we're just going to keep pumping this out. I think Google loves it. Our consumers love it. Our customers love it. So why not? But I appreciate it.
I have one last question.
Yes.
For you, Billy.
Okay. I hope it's not a tough one.
No.
We're on camera here.
Not for you. So what do you think works better for an e-commerce ad? Do you think videos work better than image ads?
No, I don't. 99% of the time.
Okay.
The reason for that is because Facebook charges you more to promote videos to people. So unless it's a product that needs some explaining, what's one that I can think of? There's very few of them. I can't actually think of an e-commerce campaign that we've tested video ads for and had a better result.
Okay.
There are exceptions. So there's a really cool tool out there called Canva, which I know you guys have been using for ages now, and that will animate your image for you. And in a sense, that kind of turns it into a little video. But really what it's doing is it's a 5-second video, right? So it kind of pops out of the page when people are scrolling through their newsfeed. And I know that we've done a lot of testing with that, and the results are kind of inconclusive. Really, what the results say is you just got to test it, because some of the campaigns we've done that to have worked really well, and then others you can see that there's an increase in CPM, meaning cost per 1,000 impressions. So you really have to keep your eye on that, because what that means is value for money.
Yeah.
Like, how many people is Facebook going to show your ad to for every dollar you spend? You need that to be the maximum amount possible. Yeah. And so another thing is the relevancy score, which we haven't even really touched on here. But if your ad gets a high relevancy score, Facebook's going to reward you by showing your ads to more people at a lower cost, right? So if you get a low relevancy score, they're going to say, look, you're creating content and making us feed it to our users and it stinks, right? People don't like it. So we're going to charge you heaps to show your ads to people, because you're kind of, in a sense, damaging our platform, right? So you need to get an ad that people like. The most commonly shared and liked kind of content on Facebook is anything that looks like a news article or a public announcement. Those kinds of things can increase your relevancy score significantly. But back to your question, Swati, if you are going to create a video ad, it needs to be a really good reason why you're going to create that video ad. And you need to keep a very close eye on the results that video ad's getting for you. You also need to make sure that you're retargeting anyone who watches any of that video. So a lot of people will be interested and they'll watch your video for 15, 20, 25 seconds. They'll get distracted, right? And so they'll just keep scrolling, or they'll go back to their chess game or whatever they're doing on their phone, right? So those people you have to catch and remarket to. Not with more videos either, like with image ads, with the offer, with the promotion to try to drive action.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't think I think that people do like to consume videos on Facebook, but it doesn't necessarily drive them to action right? Yeah. As well as just a cold hard offer with a great discount, great product.
Cool.
That's my answer for your question, Swati.
Perfect. Thank you.
Got any others? No? Cool.
Not unless you've got any tips, tricks.
No, we've pretty much covered it here, except I think that people need to be prepared to spend on Facebook to give it a red hot go. People often feel like, because it's Facebook, I can get away with $5 or $10 a day and see, what kind of results I'll get. I don't think that that's working anymore. It did back in the day when Facebook was first around, but the competition levels are too high now. And there's still a window of opportunity. There's big businesses spending more and more money on Facebook and social every year. So they're driving up the cost per 1,000 impressions, but there's still a really good window for small businesses as well.
Yeah, I think you can get away with a smaller budget if you're targeting a smaller area.
Yes.
But if you're doing Australia-wide because you ship there $5 to $10 a day, it's
not going to
enough.
cut. Not going to cut it.
Not at all.
Cool. All right. Is that it, guys? Let's wrap it up, hey? Thanks for your time. Give me some skin. Boom. Yeah. The enthusiasm. Love it.
Thank you.
See you guys.
See ya.